Yeah, so I'm Tim Orling. I work at Consulco Group. We're a consultancy, and I'm going to talk about creating an installer that uses bmap tool. That's wrong keyboard. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but we do all kinds of embedded Linux and open source software, and we focus on upstreaming as much as we can. We also do hardware design and so on. So what was the problem? What was I trying to solve for this talk? We had a customer that was using Mender, and we needed a multi-partition WIC type of image to be installed. And in the case of the default settings for meta-mender, there's one partition that's actually empty. It has no files in it, the data partition. So the existing file-based installer doesn't work because it only installs files from a rootfs. So we had to change the installer. So I'd already done work previously, actually for a customer that was moving from Windows to Linux, where we did per partition installation using bmaptool. And in this case, I realized it was an opportunity to reuse some of that and do the entire disk install. So I basically reused the initramfs-module-efi shell script, which is part of the initramfs framework. And so I had to create a new initramfs module with that script in it. And then I had to create a new initramfs image with that module in it. And then I needed a recipe to wrap the image that was being installed, and that needed a WIC file. And the code is all up on PocketContrib. There's 3 commits there. So the script is mostly the same as the init install-efi shell script, but the reality is it's actually, I hacked a lot of stuff out. I removed all of the code that mounts the disk or mounts the rootfs image and then copies the files and everything. So the real meat of it is just this very, very simple thing here, which runs bmaptool copy from the mounted material, which mounted media, and then installs it onto the device, which is auto-discovered just like the regular script does. So in this case, the one variable is image. That's the name of the partition where the payload's going to be. And then the 2 variable is rootfs image, which makes it so you don't have to change the script all the time. It's just always the same name. And there's an accompanying rootfs.image.bmap file on the disk as well. So here's the initramfs module. And so really it's basically copying from the one for the EFI installer, but it just changes. It adds some extra tools, bmap tools especially as needed. And one of the things that I did, I don't remember all the details exactly, but it was just easier to copy the init install bmap shell script to the initd as install EFI shell. That just made everything kind of work. So just hijacking as much as possible the EFI stuff. So the initramfs, I basically just used the existing core image minimal initramfs. We need to change the image base name and actually remove the initramfs-module-install-efi and add the one that I created in order to get that EFI install EFI shell script that we need. Then for whatever image you are trying to install, you want to create another recipe. This is the installer image. This is what actually captures the payload. So one of the things that's handy here is to use the task depends to make sure that the initramfs is already created and that your image that you're packaging has also been built. if you're using meta-mender, you're going to want to turn off some tasks because you don't need the data image and the mender image and the UEFI image to be run. And I didn't do an extensive analysis on stopping from putting large stuff into S8 cache, but the do rootfs no stamp does help. I think those two slides might have been out of order. So basically it starts with core image minimal, and I just include this WKS file and the set the init RD image. And then you can see down at the bottom the image boot file. So this is the standard way of telling WIC what you're going to add to your image. I just use the image from the deploy images dir, right, and rename it to rootfs and rootfs image bmap to make sure that that they're being reused, or that it's easy to keep having the same name. So after that, you basically just DD that WIC image to your USB stick, boot it on the target, and select which target device or disk you want to install to, and then it installs kind of just like normally. So that was the quick and dirty. Any questions?